Welcome back to the Fame Files, Episode 2.
Oh, it's great to be back.
We're diving into another story from the world of fame and celebrity,
Yeah.
where the personal and the public kind of bump into each other in weird ways.
Right.
This time, we're going to be taking a look at Aubrey Plaza
Oh, okay.
and her appearance at the SNL 50th anniversary special.
Yeah.
It was her first time out, since the death of her husband.
Right. The filmmaker, Jeff Baena.
Yeah, Jeff Baena.
Yeah.
A lot of people were talking about that.
Yes. It was interesting. I mean, on the surface, it just seemed like another celebrity appearance.
Right.
At a big event, but there's more to the story, I think.
Yeah, for sure.
About grief and remembrance and loss and all that.
Yeah. All right. So let's start with, I guess, what kind of caught everyone's attention.
Okay.
Which was Plaza's wardrobe choice.
Oh, right. Yeah.
She wore a tie-dye T-shirt.
Uh-huh.
Which seems, a little casual for such a big event.
Yeah, you wouldn't think that's, the thing you would wear.
Right.
To the 50th anniversary of SNL, but yeah.
But when you dig a little deeper, it becomes clear that it was no ordinary fashion statement.
Oh, absolutely not. No. There was something more to that.
Right.
So, yeah, Plaza and Baena, they love tie-dye.
Yeah.
And if you remember that interview she did on the Drew Barrymore show.
Oh, yeah.
She talked about how they actually wore tie-dye pajamas that Baena made himself to their wedding.
Wow, that's cool.
Back in 2021. So this wasn't just, like a random fashion choice.
Yeah, no. It seems like it was a very deliberate choice.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like she was carrying a piece of their history,
Right.
their shared history with her.
It's
a quiet little tribute woven into this very public appearance.
Yes.
What do you think? Was this, could this be a way for her to hold on to that connection?
Yeah, definitely. I think it was a powerful little act of remembrance.
Yeah.
And to keep his spirit close in a moment that must have been, pretty emotionally charged for her.
Right. Yeah. Very difficult.
And it makes you think about the significance of those little personal symbols, the things that we hold on to when we're dealing with loss.
Absolutely. Yeah. Those little pieces of the person, right?
Yes.
That we can hold on to. So speaking of their wedding, Plaza described it as this like incredibly spontaneous affair.
Yeah, that's kind of how they were, I guess.
Yeah, they decided to get married at 5 p.m.
Wow.
And by 8:30, they were tying the knot.
Yeah.
Rosemary crowns, a love altar in the backyard. She called it very witchcore. It was so them.
Oh, that sounds very much like them. Yeah.
It speaks to their shared sense of whimsy.
Right.
And unconventionality.
And it also makes you think about how their love story played out, both privately and publicly.
Yeah, they collaborated on several films together.
Yeah.
Like Life After Beth.
Right, exactly.
And seemed to share a creative bond beyond just the personal stuff.
Yes, definitely. There was a lot of synergy going on there.
Right. So to understand, I guess, the depth of Plaza's loss, we need to talk about Jeff Baena's work. Beyond just being Aubrey Plaza's husband.
Right. He was a filmmaker in his own right.
Right, exactly. So tell me about his career, his style, what made him stand out.
Well, he was known for his sort of offbeat comedic sensibilities, kind of dry wit that often explored, the absurdity of everyday life.
Yeah, okay.
And you see that in films like I Heart Huckabees, which he co-wrote.
Yeah, okay.
And in his directorial work like Spin Me Round, which he also co-wrote with Plaza.
Oh, okay, cool.
So there's this quirky, sometimes dark humor that runs through a lot of his films. It's distinctive.
Yeah, sounds like he was a real talent.
Yeah.
A unique voice in the world of comedy.
Yes, definitely. And his passing, which sadly was ruled a suicide, must have been a huge loss for the film community and, of course, for those who knew him personally.
Of course. And Plaza has chosen to remain mostly silent on the matter.
Yeah.
Aside from, a brief statement that was released shortly after his death.
Right.
But her appearance at SNL, it speaks volumes, right?
It does. It
wasn't this grand return, like red carpets, interviews, all that stuff.
Yeah, I know.
It was a very focused appearance.
Yeah.
She introduced the musical performance. And that was it.
Yeah, she stepped back. It's almost like a way to dip her toe back into public life on her own terms, I guess.
Yeah, yeah, exactly, exactly.
Yeah. It's a reminder that, everyone grieves differently.
Right.
There's no right way or wrong way, especially,
Yeah.
when you're in the public eye.
Right.
And there's this pressure to kind of perform your grief for everyone.
It's interesting because on the one hand, you have this natural curiosity, I think,
Right.
about the lives of these people that we see, on screen or on stage, right?
Mm-hmm.
We feel like we know them even though we don't.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, they're entitled to the same privacy and respect as anyone else would be.
Of course.
Especially during a time of loss.
All right. And it's kind of this tension that Plaza seems to be navigating, very carefully.
Right.
She's not hiding away completely.
Right.
But she's not, making her grief the center of attention either.
Right, right. Yeah, it makes you think about how we, as a culture, kind of, approach celebrity and grief.
Right. Like, do we expect them to share every detail of their private lives?
Right.
Or are we able to give them the space to mourn in private,
right,
even as they're continuing their very public careers?
It's a delicate balance for sure.
Yes, it is.
It's one that Plaza seems to be handling with grace.
She is.
It's almost like that tie-dye T-shirt becomes a symbol for that balance, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Just this personal, intimate tribute.
Right.
But it's also a way of acknowledging the public.
Yeah.
Without having to directly address it.
It's a way of saying, I'm here, but I'm also grieving.
Right.
And I'm going to do it in my own way.
Yeah, yeah. It speaks to the power of these,
right,
small, meaningful choices that people make.
Yes.
Even amidst, something large and public.
Right, exactly. Like the SNL anniversary show.
Yeah, yeah. And maybe that's the takeaway here, right?
Yeah.
That even, when faced with a really immense loss, love and connection, they find a way to endure.
They do.
And sometimes the most subtle and unexpected ways.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but it makes me think about all the little ways that, that people honor loved ones who are no longer with us.
Right, right.
Those quiet gestures and personal symbols.
Yeah.
That carry so much meaning,
Right.
Even if the rest of the world isn't aware
of
of their significance.
Exactly. What stands out to you most about Plaza's approach to this?
I think what's so fascinating is the way that she's using her platform, not to make a grand statement.
Yeah.
Not to draw attention to herself.
Right.
But to just honor, Baena's memory in a way that feels, very authentic and personal.
Right.
It's this quiet act of defiance against that expectation.
Yeah.
That she has to, perform her grief for the world.
Right.
I think that's a powerful message.
It really is. It makes you wonder if we all have something to learn from that.
Right.
How to navigate these things.
Yeah.
How to hold on to those we've lost.
Right.
And how to find meaning and beauty even in the darkest of times.
It's a reminder that grief doesn't have to be this all-consuming, isolating experience.
Right. It can be woven into our lives.
Right.
Expressed in subtle ways.
Yeah.
And carried with us as we move forward. And sometimes, those expressions of love and memory can be the most powerful of all.
It really makes you think about, how much we might miss.
Oh, yeah.
If we're not, paying attention to the little things.
Right, exactly.
Like those little details. Like you said, there's always more to the story than what you see on the surface.
Yeah, we're all detectives in a way, aren't we?
Right.
Piecing together clues, trying to understand the deeper meaning behind what people are doing.
Yeah.
And sometimes, it's those quiet observations that others might overlook that can be the most revealing.
Yeah, it's like that tie-dye shirt.
Yeah.
Became this, symbol, right?
Yes, it's like a secret language. Right.
Between her and those who knew what it meant.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. And it makes you wonder how many other secret languages are out there.
Right. Hidden in plain sight.
Right.
Yeah. It's a reminder that there are layers to every story, right?
Yep.
Layers that we might not even be aware of.
Yeah.
And it's up to us to be curious.
Yeah.
To look beyond the surface.
Right.
And try to understand the meaning behind what we see.
Well, I think we've covered a lot of ground today. We've explored Aubrey Plaza.
Yeah.
Her return to the public eye, the subtle way she honored her late husband.
Right.
The the questions this raises about celebrity and grief and meaning in the face of loss, I mean.
It's a lot to unpack, isn't it?
It's yeah, it's been a fascinating deep dive.
It has. It really has.
Yeah.
And we also touched on the importance of privacy.
Right.
And respecting that, the different ways that people grieve.
Yeah. The power of love and connection.
Uh-huh.
And how sometimes those connections are expressed in the most unexpected ways.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. So as we wrap up this episode of the Fain Files, I'm left with a question for the listeners.
Okay.
How do you think public figures should navigate grief and loss while in the spotlight?
It's a tough one.
What are the expectations that we place on them?
Right.
And how can we create a space for them that allows for both, public acknowledgement and private healing?
Yeah. I mean, it's a complicated issue.
It's a complex issue, and there's no easy answer.
No.
But I think it's a conversation worth having.
It is. It really is. And maybe this episode has given you some things to think about.
Right.
Some new perspective.
Yeah.
Remember, sometimes the most meaningful discoveries are found in the quietest moments.
Right.
In those little details. It's up to us to pay attention.
Yeah.
To really listen and be open to the stories that are all around us.
Beautifully said. And on that note, we'll leave you to ponder those questions.
Yes.
We'll be back next time with another fascinating story from the world of fame and celebrity. Until then, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep those deep dives going.